How do our muscles develop? So all of our muscle tissue is going to be developed from embryonic myoblasts. So again, here's that myo word part, meaning muscle, blast being builder cells, so our muscle building cells. Our skeletal muscle cells are going to form from the fusion of many myoblasts together, which is why they are multinucleated. Cardiac and smooth muscles, myoblasts don't actually fuse together, but they do develop gap junctions, which connects them and allows the flow of electrical signals in between cells. Inside of skeletal muscle tissue, some of those myoblasts develop into these adult stem cells called satellite cells that are going to be used in repair. So when skeletal muscle gets damaged, these myoblasts-like satellite cells have some limited regenerative ability. If your myofiber, your muscle fiber cell, gets damaged, these satellite cells can proliferate, move to the injured fiber, fuse with it, and actually repair it. Note, they don't tend to develop into new muscle cells. They're better at repairing damaged muscle cells. Cardiomyocytes are going to be able to divide at a slow rate, but not fast enough to actually repair heart tissue if it's been damaged. Heart tissue is typically going to be replaced with connective tissue, so it's going to repair itself through fibrosis, not regeneration. Smooth muscle tissue, however, has great regenerative capabilities and tends to grow and regenerate throughout your life. Cardiac and skeletal muscle can lengthen and thicken when you are a child, but in adults, instead, we just get hypertrophy, where the muscle just gets thicker and bigger, not necessarily longer. Our muscles are going to respond to use, and they respond differently depending on how they are used. So if we have aerobic or endurance exercise, like jogging or swimming or biking, this tends to lead to increased muscle capillaries, to increase blood flow to the area, increased number of mitochondria, to increase the ability to perform that aerobic respiration, and increase myoglobin synthesis in order to hold on to more oxygen. This is going to make the muscles have more endurance and be more resistant to fatigue. We may also convert the fast glycolytic fibers to fast oxidative fibers, so they're less sort of explosively powerful, but have greater endurance. Resistance exercise, which is typically going to be forms of anaerobic exercise, like lifting weights or doing isometric exercise, leads instead to muscle hypertrophy. This is where the muscle gets larger. Note the increase in muscle size is primarily due to increase in fiber size. The fibers get bigger, you don't get more of them. This increase in fiber size is going to be due to increased myofilaments, increased mitochondria, glycogen stores so that the muscle can work more, and connective tissue to help strengthen the overall muscle. This is going to lead to this increase in the muscle size and the muscle strength. If muscles are not used, the opposite happens. So muscles have to be active in order to remain healthy. If they're not active, then we get what's called disuse atrophy. This is where the muscles actually degenerate and lose mass. And this can be due to either immobilization, you're bedridden, you can't get up, or loss of neural stimulation. So in this image, this patient had a stroke that meant that half of their body was no longer getting improper neural stimulation. And you can see the difference in size of the muscles between this leg and this leg. And that muscle strength can actually decrease rapidly, as much as 5% of the muscle strength lost per day. Paralyzed muscles can atrophy to 1/4 of their original size, and eventually the muscle tissue can get replaced with fibrous connective tissue, and at that point, because skeletal muscles don't have great regenerative capabilities, rehabilitation isn't actually possible. So it's really important, if possible, to maintain the use of your muscles. As we age, the percentage of our muscles that's connective tissue tends to increase, and the muscle fibers tends to decrease, and that's going to overall weaken our muscles. This loss of muscle mass actually begins by the age of 30, and this is called sarcopenia. However, regular exercise can prevent and reverse this sarcopenia.